Yo, what's good everyone? Thank you for tuning in to today's video. I hope everybody is doing well. I am doing great and I'm really excited to be back again with yet another review. But before we dive into that, just like I always do, I want to welcome back all of my returning subscribers. On the flip side, if you are new around here, welcome to the channel. On this channel, we do release brand new sneaker content just like this each and every week. So if you haven't already, please feel free to smash that subscribe button. Also, do make sure the bell notification is switched on so you never miss a video. We have loads of exciting content coming out over the next few weeks, and I know it's definitely something that you guys don't want to miss out on, so do make sure to smash that subscribe button. If you do go on to enjoy this video, please give it a massive thumbs up, which is always truly appreciated. You've probably heard it 1,000,001 times by now, but it helps us with the algorithm, getting this video seen by more and more people, so we can keep expanding on our amazing community. And also, if you do want to reach out to me outside of YouTube, you can find me most active on Instagram under ACS Sneakers. So reach out to me anytime. I'm always glad to talk to you guys. But now we've got all those formalities out of the way, we now just go ahead and dive straight into the video. So first things first, just like we always do, let's just take a quick look at the shoebox. Now I have to give a massive shout out to Urban Industries for actually sending me a box in probably the worst condition I've ever received it in. As you will be able to see, the box is actually completely destroyed. Like, it's just not even salvageable. The ends have completely torn away. This part, I don't even know what this connects to, but this came out. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure how it happened. I do know that this happened before they sent it to me because there's actually some tape on the corner, which hopefully you will be able to see. So they've taped up the box and they've sent it out to me. Don't get me wrong, I get that the shoe in particular is fairly limited. A lot of people are after it, myself included. But to send this out to somebody and I expect them to pay full retail is just absolutely ridiculous to me. Why? I've contacted them, I'm waiting for a response, and if I do get anything, I will make sure to update you guys. But for me, as a box collector who collects all of his boxes and makes sure they stay pristine, this was just very, very disappointing to me. It kind of is what it is for a lot of people. A lot of people won't care, but for me, goddamn, it's just really, really disappointing. But I don't want to take anything away from New Balance. The box itself is actually quite decent. It's just a pretty standard box. We have this all grey colour across the top with that silver New Balance branding. If we then take a quick look at the label, which reads, it looks like it's like a style reference code, US 10D, medium Moyen 9.5. I believe that is European 44. As hopefully you will be able to see if this actually focuses. And as you was able to see as well, there's actually nothing in the box. I took the shoes out straight away because, you know, like I say, this box isn't even worth salvaging. So with all that said and done, if we now just go ahead and dive straight into the shoes. But now I've got my little moan out of the way, in hand we have the New Balance 550 in the navy colourway. Now, as I was kind of touching on earlier on in the video, this is a shoe that I have been chasing for so long now. I'm not the biggest New Balance fan, and I'm definitely one of the first people to tell you that. I just don't really like the silhouettes, I don't really like the brand, but there are certain exceptions to that rule, and the 550 is just the shoe for me that I feel like is the best New Balance shoe. There are certain colorways that I love. There's a green colorway which is just superb, and then the size exclusive orange ones is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. This is a really nice colorway as well. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to lie to you guys on camera and tell you that this is the one that I was actually chasing, because it wasn't.
No, righty then.
But I definitely wanted to try it out before I actually paid resale for any of those other pairs. And a little bit of a spoiler alert for anyone who actually doesn't stick around for the rest of the video. I'm actually very surprised by how good this shoe actually is. So what I'll be doing is I'll be breaking the shoe down section by section, letting you guys know exactly what goes into this shoe. And then hopefully by the end of this video, help you guys decide if this is actually a shoe you want for your own collection, whether it be the shoe itself or the actual colorway. So just like we always do, we'll be starting out with the upper and then working our way down. So on the upper, we do actually have this really nice, not necessarily premium white leather base. And this is then overlaid with more really nice white leather in the midfoot. Now the leather does actually feature some perforations, which I believe is there for additional airflow, but for me, I also feel like it actually adds a really nice aesthetic look to the shoe, because otherwise, if this was just flat white, clean leather, I think in general it would have been a little bit jarring. Like the shoe itself, as you will be able to see, is a little bit plain for most people, but I do actually think these little perforation holes actually add quite a lot of value. And then all this white leather is then offset with this really nice sand-coloured suede around the toe. Honestly, the suede is actually really nice. Like, once again, it's not necessarily the most premium suede on any shoe I've ever had, but in general, a really nice soft suede on the hand. It has a little bit of a rough texture to it, but it still has like a really smooth overall texture to it, which I'm a big fan of. So absolutely no complaints there. And then as we actually move throughout the shoe itself, we have hues of navy. So this can be seen on the 550 branding alongside the New Balance logo, which is seen on both the lateral and the medial side of the shoe as well. As we then continue to work our way back through the actual upper, we do have more navy hits around the ankle on more of that really nice leather material. And then we also see this around the heel as well. If we then switch over to the actual heel of the shoe, on the heel we do have that New Balance branding, which I actually think works really well for this shoe. Actually adds a really nice pop of colour. And then as we do work our way back into the centre of the shoe, we do have these flat white shoelaces. So the laces in general, absolutely fine. Just feel like any ordinary standard pair of laces. The shoe itself, unfortunately, doesn't come with any additional laces, which it depends how you look at it, to be honest, whether or not this is actually a shoe you would do a lace swap for. I do think if you got maybe black laces or navy laces, it would actually work really well. I think for me, though, I'm going to leave it just as it is. I think it looks absolutely fine with the standard flat white laces. And then the laces do sit atop this really interesting mesh tongue underneath, which feels absolutely fine, pretty standard as well. Nothing really too dissimilar there. The laces are actually fed through the leather that we saw on the midfoot, so we actually have some nice leather eye stays, which is always a nice touch. And then as we work our way up to the top of the tongue, we have more of that really nice navy New Balance 550 branding. From there, if we then just work our way onto the inside of the shoe, we do have this all white nylon sock liner, which honestly, I'm not a big fan of. Whenever it comes to an all white sock liner, it's just going to get super dirty super quickly. So for me, it is disappointing because, you know, it is what it is. It's going to get dirty. It's going to get messed up. If you wear black socks with this, it's game over. But for me, it wasn't a big enough turn off for me to not actually buy the shoe. So I'm not too disappointed by it, but it's not always the best thing either. And then if we do just continue to work our way even further inside the shoe, we do have a really nice pop of colour on the insole, as we have that navy coloured insole with the New Balance branding. Now, the shoe itself does actually feature an Orphalite insole, which in general, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of Orphalite. But I think with this particular style of shoe, it's absolutely fine. The comfort on this shoe actually was really surprising. Felt really good on feet. I actually wore these for a little bit of time before sitting down and doing this video. And as far as the actual comfort aspect of this shoe is concerned, I'm absolutely fine with it. There's a decent amount of padding around the ankle collar, a decent amount around the actual heel of the shoe as well. Feels really stable on foot. And you can kind of tell that this is like part of the basketball line. It just feels really great on feet. And I'm a big fan of basketball sneakers, low tops, mid tops, high tops. And this is just a really nice shoe to add to my personal collection because it's a little bit different, looks a little bit more natural, more like a lifestyle type of shoe. I mean, I personally wouldn't play basketball in it, but if you guys can make it work, more power to you. But for me, this is a great everyday lifestyle type of shoe. And if you are looking for that versatile shoe that just goes with everything and you can pretty much just wear it anywhere, the 550 is an absolute must as far as I'm concerned. This will 100% not be the only colorway. I'm going to collect these like Skittles. Every color I want in my collection, starting off with that size exclusive.
Shut up and take my money.
But from there, if we then just work our way down to the midsole, as you can see, we have this absolutely beautiful pre-aged sail colored midsole. I absolutely love that about this shoe, this sail midsole. Adds that really nice vintage aesthetic to the shoe, and this is a dad shoe. Everybody calls it a dad shoe, and it is what it is. It looks like what it is. It looks like what it should be. And honestly, the vintage look to this shoe just looks absolutely perfect. Now, I did actually have the pleasure of interviewing Stephen Smith on the SWO podcast, and he mentioned something about a different shoe where you can't really put a specific year or date on a shoe release, even though it released on a certain day. And I do feel like this shoe kind of falls into that same category. It's got vibes of the 80s, the 90s, and even the 2000s. There are so many different things that this could be taking inspiration from, and it could be a culmination of everything. I'm not the New Balance guy to tell you when this shoe first originally released, but just for me, the vintage aesthetic to this shoe is just absolutely flawless, and the New Balance branding, they definitely didn't keep it refined. I really love how bold it is and how, how vibrant it is and how it's everywhere on the shoe. You can't look at one part of the shoe without seeing that New Balance branding, which a lot of people might not like, but I actually thought was a really nice detail. And then from there, if we then swing over to the outsole, we have this really beautiful outsole, done primarily in this really nice navy colour, but just underneath the heel we do have the New Balance branding in that splash of sail once again. But just to briefly touch on the overall sizing for the shoe, now if you are a regular viewer on my channel, you probably already know that normally I'm just a UK size 9. In this shoe, the only sizes that were available were an 8.5 or a 9.5, so I kind of threw caution to the wind and decided to go a half size up instead of a half size down. And honestly, I am super glad that I went a half size up, because I do think going true to size, the shoe would have just felt far too narrow and far too tight for me. Now, as a quick disclaimer, I actually do have wide feet, and in general, it doesn't really bother me that much. It doesn't really affect me too much. But I feel like in a specific kind of shoe like this, it may have been a bit of an issue. But luckily it isn't, because I did go a half size up. So if you are looking for any sizing recommendations, I'd highly recommend trying a pair before buying if that's at all possible. But if not, do go a half size up if you do have wide feet. And if you do have more narrow feet and you do like more of an actual narrow, tighter fit, I do think going true to size would be absolutely fine for you.
Lovely jubbly, so everyone's a winner, right?
But with that aside, I think we've just about covered everything that's worth covering on this shoe, so if we now just go ahead and wrap up the video. So just to wrap up this video, in terms of my overall opinion on the shoe itself, I'm going to give the New Balance 550 a pretty reasonable 8 out of 10. Now, I did actually ask my missus to give these a rating as well, and she completely obliterated them, giving them a 4 out of 10. Definitely not her style, definitely not something she's interested in, but for me, personally, I just think this is an absolutely beautiful shoe. Something I can actually wear casually, but I can also feel like I can dress it up a little bit as well. And you really can't complain about having such an affordable, versatile shoe in the collection. I didn't actually cover it within the review itself, but this shoe actually only retails for £100, which right now is the same price as an Air Force 1. And as far as I'm concerned, and in my personal opinion, this for me is better than the Air Force 1 for me and how I'm living right now. Not shoe for shoe and not based on the history of both shoes. That's definitely not what I'm saying, so don't get me wrong. But just in terms of where I'm at in my own personal life and how I actually want to wear shoes now, I will definitely be paying £100 for the 550s over an Air Force 1, and that's just me. But that's pretty much everything that I have to say about this shoe. I'd love to get your guys' opinions on it as well. So do make sure to leave me a comment in the comment section below and let me know whether or not you would actually want a pair of these for your own personal collections. Also, if you did stick around to this point in the video, I do want to say a massive thank you. If you haven't already, please feel free to smash that subscribe button. Also, do make sure the bell notification is switched on so you never miss a video. And I hope to see you all again in the next one.